You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey, Rebels. We're back. It's crazy time. Oh, yes, it is time for another edition of DSR2. I hope you guys are ready. There is no shortage of things to get into. NBA playoffs went from like outstanding to blowout after blowout and a roller coaster ride. We'll break that down. NHL got it going on. Talk a little playoff there. And MLB, plenty of stuff to get into. I'm sure people will say dumb stuff. We'll talk about dumb stuff. I'd say dumb stuff. So we'll do dumb stuff. So without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, Shotty the Moose.
Hey, we're back here, another edition of DSR2 on this kind of wet, I guess a typical May Wednesday here in the D.
Yeah, it's kind of meh. Maybe that's why it's May.
Yeah. What, rain, around 70, You know, next week will be 90. So we're on there. So we got here lots here to talk about. As we said, we got the NBA conference championships going on there. We got Boston and the Miami happening here tonight. And then we also got tomorrow night will be game 5 of the Mavericks and the Warriors going on there. Can the Warriors close it out in 5? We'll get into that. We also got the NHL playoffs going on. We've also got MLB season going on there as well, and all sorts of craziness going on in the world of sports as we say it. So
yes, and guys, we're gonna try to keep it light here, and we're gonna try to stay on point and do the sports thing. You come here to get away from all the craziness in the world, and it's not like we won't address things, but for now, let's just get into some fun. Let's get our minds off of craziness, and let's talk sports. There's like tons of playoff things to get into, and the game 5 for me, Moose, with Golden State and Dallas is, dude, it's exactly what I figured, right? Like, it's going to be the gentleman's sweep, you know.
Yes.
I think we were having a conversation in our pre-show here about the quote-unquote super team, and we'll get into that conversation in a minute. because it's a great conversation and I want to have it, but we're doing the whip around first. So let's do the whip around and then we'll get to that conversation. But in that conversation, we were talking about the super team scenario and having, you got to have a few guys there. And Luka just doesn't quite have what he needs there yet.
Right.
And so Golden State is just, it's like they took 2 years off and they're falling back where they were before. Really, it's essentially.
Yeah.
So we'll see if how that kind of plays out. But yeah, I mean, we've seen how it played out, so it is what it is. But they play the game because they play the game. But I think Golden State at home against this team, and they're just too overwhelming in the matchup. There's just too many people to match up against. You can, like we talked about it before, Moose. You said it. You can let Luka get off. You just gotta stop everybody else because you don't really have anybody that can get points like Luka and produce like Luka. And Luka, well, let's be honest, though I put him as probably like a top 3 player in the league, he doesn't play a lot of defense. So when you start looking at the teams that are winning, let's be real about it, Moose. It's defense that are winning. There is not a single team, and y'all can look this up. Tell me how many top-ranked offenses are in the playoffs right now, still playing, like in the top 10. I don't think there are any top 10, but there are top 5 defenses playing.
Yeah,
and so that is what the difference is. If you don't, defense travels. Boston has won how many road games in the playoffs?
Yeah.
They win all these road games.
games.
I mean, they're killing it on the road. And it's because defense travels.
Right.
When you're looking at what's going on over there in Boston, as well as as much as they're able to put up points and all that stuff, they're playing like great defense at the right time. And I don't see them, until someone can match that intensity. That's my bet in the East right now is a team like Boston who's playing defense. If you look at Golden State, they're playing defense. Like it or not, that's what Draymond's there for.
Right.
And these other guys play defense. And so those are the teams that, are my bet going forward, but it's because of the defense. So as much as this game is set up for offense, it's the same thing we talked about with football, right, Moose? Didn't we have this conversation about the NFL and their playoffs and how, all the things are set up for the offensive team, and yes, the offensive teams will do great in the regular season, Phoenix Suns, but when it comes to the playoffs,
it's a different animal.
You need to have defense, and defense travels wherever you go. And it's the same thing in the NFL. It plays out year in and year out. And no matter what you think of how the league is going to set up and play, and that's what happens. We watch it every time. And now you're seeing this, and you're seeing the same thing in the NBA right here, right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now you look on it, as we said, with Golden State and that. I mean, they're the most experienced team in these playoffs because the big three have been there multiple times.
Right.
With it, so it doesn't phase them. And they do play a good team defense-wise on it. But yeah, Boston has been playing really good, great defense, especially, and then going on the road and winning. They look dominant on the road. Right. As bad as they looked at home on Saturday night, looked how good they looked on Tuesday.
Right. Yep.
Or Monday. Yeah, Monday. Yeah. I mean, totally different on there, and it's just the way that team's playing and everything with it. So yeah, I mean, we look on there, and it's been some good series on there. Again, this Miami-Boston series is exactly what we said it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's going 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think it's going to go 7, and I think Boston's going to live up to their MO and do what Boston does, and they're going to win on the effing road. They're going to win on the road in a Game 7. Boston's going to be Boston. That's just the way I feel about it right now. Now that could change, but right now, if they can stay healthy, and think about, they did a lot of this stuff without Horford.
Yeah.
So I mean, like. You get him back in the rotation.
Horford, I think, will be out tonight. Hero's out for Miami tonight. So,
well, see, that's the problem with Hero too. He's a defensive liability.
Yes.
Like, let's be real about that. Like, as brilliant as he can be in those bright spots with the outside shot, he's just is horrible on defense. I mean, his defense is like pointless. Why is he's not doing anything? Like whoever he's supposed to be covering, just throw the ball to that guy. He's going to be wide the F open. That guy just walks back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and he's not anywhere near his defender or his, the guy he's supposed to be. So I just, so those are things. That's why when I look at that matchup, this is going to be a grinded out matchup. I think it'll be a 7-game series, but I think in the end, that's the difference where Boston's not afraid to go on the road and win, and they've done it, and they can do it, and they've proven it. They can also, you have those minor little flaws, chinks in the armor, so to speak, from Miami. You know, you got a couple guys out. Even when they're there, they're kind of a defensive liability, at least in Hero's case. So, yeah, it's going to be that close. You know what I'm saying?
Here's a little bit. Well, it's not a shocker from what we say is the Brooklyn. This broke a couple hours ago, but yeah, Brooklyn Nets are unwilling to give Kyrie Irving a long-term contract extension. You think?
Well, good. I mean, finally, somebody with a brain stem. I mean, that guy's a head case. That guy's like Kanye West. He's a head case.
Yes. So there's a shocker. Well, actually, not a shocker. It's about time somebody got a little bit of wise up to it. Because again, yes, no one's doubting his talent. His talent is top 10 NBA player, especially offensive wise. But again, his between the ears is like not even worth G League money.
I'm telling you.
Again, they'll be better off without him.
Without a doubt.
Why do you think Boston's like, bye?
I like Kyrie. I think he's a great player, but he can't get out of his own head. He can't get out of his own way. And yes, I called him Kanye. Yes, he's like Kanye. He's a mess. He's a head case. He's weird. And that's not even the real problem, is that it spills onto the court. I don't give a shit how weird he is or how goofy he is or what he believes in and all that shit. I don't care about none of that crap. I just entertain me. How many times do we say it, Moose? Entertain me.
Right.
I don't give a rat's ass. But this is the problem. He doesn't entertain me. He aggravates me. And he doesn't play that often. And then when he does, he acts like he's some kind of badass. Well, guess what, dude? You've been resting. These guys have been playing a full 82-game season while you've been jerking off. You played 30 games this year, you dipshit. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, get with your team. You're acting like you're somebody. You're better than everybody else. That's what if I was his teammates, I'd be like, dude, why do you think homeboy wanted out of there?
Right.
Because you're better than me. Your time, your health, your whatever excuses are, all that stuff is more important than mine. That's bullshit. Like, I'm not hearing it. Oh, that dude got jacked up the way he fell down between the ring. He probably, the legs are all twisted up like. Anyway, watching some wrestling here as we do the show, per usual. Because I'm a dork like that, and I work a company and I have friends in this one, so.
So yeah, we got that going on. But yeah, right now is most of these games on, and again we said is with the Celtics and the Heat, it's been pretty much what we and again we pretty much with the Mavs and the Warriors, it's exactly what we pretty much said it was going to be.
Yeah, the only issue is we went from some really good games to like teams exchanging blowouts,
right?
And when you watch these games and it's over after the first quarter, that's a little that kind of sucks,
right?
So that's the only thing I'm going to say about it. Not that there isn't great play. We are getting good play. It's just we got spoiled with these games. We were talking about it here on the show, Moose, that not just the NBA but the NHL was doing us good. They were giving us triple overtimes and big scores and low scores and crazy saves and all this and that. We were getting the same thing from the NBA, and the NBA was like, oh yeah, no. Certain matchups, and it's been a series of basically blowouts for the most part. There's been a couple of good games. I can't say that. Like you said, even though the Mavs are losing quickly, There was a couple of close games, but I think there was like a 6-point game or something like that one. But what are you smirking at over there?
Well, again, on there, I'm going to break into a little James Worthy basically on there. He became the officially get off my lawn old man guy.
Well, this goes back to our pre-show conversation and the super team. So, okay, we'll go there. Let's get into it.
Why not? We're talking NBA on there.
Yes.
So, Worthy's basically bitching about the modern day NBA player because all they care about is shooting threes, getting tats, tweets, and going on super teams. I'm looking, dude, for all people saying super team, you were drafted into a super team. You played your career on a super team.
You give me one championship team, let alone a dynasty, but just give me a championship team that was a team. There are a few, but you tell me how many you come up with. When you really start thinking about all the teams that win championships, how many aren't a super team? There's not that many.
In the last, again, I'll tell you what, in the last 45 years, 3. That's it.
So I got the 04 Pistons.
79 Supersonics, 78 Washington Bullets.
Okay.
And that's it.
I mean, because wasn't there a year?
What, Houston winning
Houston,
back-to-back?
Yeah. But
You
they
had
a
LeBron, Clyde to Glide,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
and Robert Ory.
That's when Clyde went over
And
there.
yeah,
Yeah, that's when Clyde
Sam
went over there.
Cassell, the alien.
The alien. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty close. Yeah, I guess that would qualify.
I mean, realistically, on there. So every team on there that's won championships, realistically, ever on there, but we'll just go back to the last 45 years, has been a super team much, except for those 3. Because the Lakers won 5 during the 80s. You can't tell me they weren't a super team.
Right.
Boston won 3 in the 80s. Team.
Yep.
Pistons won 2.
Yeah. Super duper
Super duper team.
Yeah.
Should have won 3.
All right.
76ers in 83 were a super team.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Even the 2 teams in Houston went to the finals with Ralph Sampson and Keem. Essentially, were damn good. Portland that went to the championship were a damn almost a super team.
Yeah. They just went to the
The
finals.
Bulls, super team.
Yep. San Antonio.
Super team.
I mean,
Shaq and Kobe, super team.
yeah.
Golden State, super team.
Yeah.
Miami the Heat, super team.
Yeah.
Both times they went on there. Shaq and Dwayne, LeBron, Bosh,
Right.
and Ray Allen.
Yep.
The 3 Amigos, super team.
Yep.
Kobe with when he wanted it on his own with Gasol and them, super team.
Yeah. No, they yep. Who else is on the team besides Pau
Dallas.
Gasol? Yeah.
The year when Dirk won it,
there.
super team.
Yeah.
So don't give me this about, super. Every team that wins has got 3 guys on there. You can say super team under your modern day aspects.
All right. What made the super team such a disdain was how Ron delivered his version of the super team.
Right.
In Miami, and how convoluted and messed up that was. So it's not about super teams because every championship team was a super team.
Right.
There's only a few that weren't.
It's just basically is yes, how LeBron did it and basically is get all his cronies together and play with it. Yeah. Whereas the other teams were developed and drafted these guys, but they added pieces, maybe a piece through a trade, not so much free agent wise. But essentially, if you're drafting all these guys on there, then you're a super team still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, the Lakers, they traded for Kareem. They didn't sign Kareem as a free agent, but they drafted Magic. They drafted Worthy. They drafted Cooper. They drafted Byron Scott.
Well, that's what's so funny about Worthy.
I mean, it's like, really, dude.
Dude, you were on a super team in college, fool. Who'd you play with?
Sam Perkins
and the
and
greatest
Michael
ever
Jordan
and the GOAT.
and Matt Doherty. Oh, God's sake, so you can pull him off too. So, dude,
Perkins and the GOAT. You had Perkins and the
GOAT on there. I could have ran point guard on that team and still won an NCAA title on there against Georgetown.
Yeah, so like, come on, man, dude. He is the most crotchety get off my lawn guy, really, because he said all that, but the first thing that came out of his mouth was tattoos and tweets. So get the F out of here. If that's
Yeah, we won't talk about basically undercover cops posers there, and you want a threesome,
right. Yeah, we won't talk about getting prostitution, soliciting hookers. We won't talk about that. But we'll be worried about somebody with tattoos and tweets.
It's super. And what's going super teens?
Yes. Shut the F up, dude. What in the hell is wrong with you, man? Get out of here with that nonsense, dude. Like, dude, you retired quietly with respect. Don't ruin it.
Right.
Don't ruin it. Don't suck any respect that anybody ever had for you out of the air, because that's what you're doing with that ignorant crap. Get out of here with that nonsense. Tattoos and tweets. So you're mad at people that like body art and that's the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because I wasn't on a super team. I was on a super mega super team, and I was on a super team in college, and I get hookers. Well, I thought I was until I went to jail.
Until I got arrested.
Until I got arrested. And then I was like, oh shit, I can't tell the difference between cops and hookers anymore. Come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
be better than that.
Yes.
Better
Groupies.
than that.
They're freebies.
Yeah, I was about to say groupies are really easy. You don't
Dude,
pay
you're
for
James Worthy. You don't think you can pick up some groupies?
Yeah.
You're on the Lakers, for God's sakes.
Yes. Well,
Even Kurt Rambis could get groupies.
but I will give him credit for not taking Magic's sloppy seconds. That turned out to be a life-altering decision. I'm just saying.
We're not saying it's right, but I understand.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I think any guy right now that heard that I took Magic sloppy seconds, yeah, you're all gone because you don't have Magic serum. He's like Blade.
I go to a vampire raid and I see Magic Johnson. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Butch Easter's going to die.
Yeah.
He's going to be whipping.
Yeah.
Damn.
If I'm ever at Movement and I see effing
Magic Johnson
Magic
in
Johnson
sunglasses
walking.
and black leather.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of there.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh snap, it's going down.
Where's the count from Sesame Street?
Yeah, it's going down.
Oh,
man.
So yeah, and of course last night in Dallas there, roof.
Dude,
Mark
he
Cuban was not happy.
Hey, dude, he was losing his effing mind. And can you blame him? He just paid somebody a bunch of money because this damn thing was leaking before.
Yeah, it's beginning of the season. Call that guy up. You better get your ass out of here and fix it right fucking now.
You're gonna, not only are you gonna fix it for free, I'm putting you in a drum. I'm putting you in a 50-gallon drum and burning you alive. I don't even care. You're gonna come here. You're gonna fix it. I'm gonna murder you. That is
And I'll
crazy.
walk.
And I'll walk. I mean, what in the hell? Mark Cuban must. You could see him just like he could have ate his fingertips off. He was so like chomping them nails. He was so mad. I can't. That stadium isn't old and ratty. Like,
No, it's like only a couple years old.
I thought, that's what I was saying. I thought it wasn't that old. Look up how old it actually is.
All right.
Because that does kind of bother me, because how do you have a dome like that? And if it's only like 10 years old or 15 years old, if it's like 30, 40 years old, but it's not no 30, 40 years old, right? Like,
Right.
it's got to be, because, you know, when you put a commercial roof up, they should last a while, especially if you're doing something that's going to be a dome like that, unless the thing, like, you know, like whatever they do to keep it like inflated. Some of them are like, they use like a nitrogen or whatever the F they use to make it like a dome and bubble up. Unless something like that collapses from snow.
It's
weight.
20. It's going to be 21 years this July.
So basically Ford Field.
Yes.
That's good.
No, it's not. I don't recall them ever having leaks like that at the Palace.
No. And they tore that building to the ground.
Right. But before on it was open for 20 plus years.
Oh yeah, dude. I thought it was still considered one of the nicer.
And it was 30
venues
years
in the
old
league.
before they moved out. Yeah. And it was still state of the art.
Yeah, it was still considered one of the nicer venues in the league. And I think it was in like the top like 10 or something venues in the league.
Yes.
And so
It was the prototype to all the modern arenas.
yes, it was. And then the ability to be able to add on and adapt and change the inside was that they didn't there
right.
wasn't
You were the
stadiums
first
like
state.
that.
You were the first. They were the first arena
Right.
to have three levels of suites.
Right.
Lower level, mid level, upper level.
Well, and they did all that stuff too. They'd go in and they'd take certain areas and they'd have like open lounge gimmick setups. They'd change different areas for bars or venues. They changed the look because
The
it was
whole concourse, the entrance, they changed all that.
And they were able to really make that something that not other stadiums could get away with. You know, how many other stadiums could you make those kind of improvements and adjustments to without it being a major infrastructural change?
Right.
Like,
and they had the room for parking. You didn't have to park off venue. You were right there.
and it was, to be honest with you,
It was easy to get to.
The parking was nice. Like, out of all the venues that you deal with, you can complain that there's a lot of people leaving the venue, but it's like, so this is your choice. You leave a few minutes early, or you just hang out for a few minutes, or you sit in line. The line's not that bad.
No.
I mean, people are. Did you see the line at the Chick-fil-A? And you're bitching about leaving the Palace? Nah, I ain't hearing that shit. The line at the Chick-fil-A drive-thru, you could sit there for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and even,
but you can't fucking
right.
sit in.
And even if you were in the upper deck at the Palace in the last row, it still was not a bad sight line. You weren't getting nosebleeds because you're vertical like at Joe Louis or the LCA.
I've probably spent more time in. Okay, so as a musician and a fan and someone who's lived in the area my whole life, I've spent more time in the Palace than any other venue in the state. And I'm here to tell you, there isn't a bad sight line in the building.
No.
There really isn't. If you go for even when you buy the freebie, like back in the day, you get these like $5 vouchers and you could sit way up in the nosebleed seats for concerts and stuff. And they were you could see everything. And if you weren't sure, the Palace Vision, remember we would fill that place to go watch Pistons home games back in the day.
Yeah, we're on the road and we could watch them at the Palace. Yeah.
So it was set up so that every sight line's good, and even if you have like a crew that's loud and jumping in front of you and you're doing this move, you can just look straight up, just over the peaks of everybody's skull and see that damn
Jumbotron.
Palace Vision Jumbotron. So and you could basically see it from every angle. It was a little weird in some of the corners, but other than that, and it was only for the Tron. Other than that, dude, that place had it figured out. Like, the design was perfect. Now, fast forward, whatever, they left the venue. But like, this venue is like Ford Field. We got done talking about how goofy. That was pre-show too, right?
Yeah.
We talked in the pre-show about how goofy it would be to spend money on a new stadium at Ford Field. Why would we do a new Ford Field? We just did Ford Field 20 years ago. Like, my roof on my house is a 25-year shingle.
Right.
Like, my house can last that long, but a state-of-the-art multi-million-dollar stadium can't?
Right.
I don't understand.
It's still a nice stadium on here. You go there now. I mean, again, like, unlike the Silverdome, when they built it and you walked in there in 1977, it was dumped then.
Oh, yeah.
Brand new. It was a dump.
Sure.
And of course, you were getting in fights, and especially in the stands. And of course, we all know where those people were from in those fights, and downriver.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, you can take the people out of downriver, but you can't take the downriver out of the people.
Guys, Moose is a carnivore. He will eat his own. He doesn't care if you're from Michigan or not. He will eat his own. He will. He's an animal.
And it's true. It's always some clown from Taylor or Melvindale getting into a drunken brawl because they drank a case of Busch Light or Natty Light in the parking lot.
Well, that'll stuff make me want to do that. Shit's garbage. Like that.
Just made me want to go pee more because it was drinking water.
Yes. So,
but yeah. It's like, on there, they were talking about, oh, yeah, they get the Lions on there so they can make money on there and get these free agents. They need a new stadium. I'm like, no, they don't.
Yeah, that doesn't make
There's
any
nothing
sense.
wrong with Ford Field.
So my point is we make that argument, and we'll get into that a little bit here in a minute. But this Cuban's got to be fuming, dude.
Oh, God, he's got
There's no way the stadium should be having these issues, especially when you tried to address it earlier in the season. So what a mess! What a flippin' mess! I would. It would be really hard not to murder that dude. I'd be so mad.
Yeah, because they had a leak in the beginning of the season, and they just put a whole new roof on.
Come on, man. How much did you pay for that?
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you check through Angie's list?
I mean, apparently not.
Well, they're the cheapest. They must be good.
According to Angie, there. Yeah, they must not have. I can't. That's the other thing too. Is I mean, I guess you pay somebody and you expect them to do you right, but like, there's no. Yeah, I guess it just happened at an inopportune time. It just happened to happen when it was on TV.
Yeah, but yeah, during the conference championships, I know. We got
a rain delay and the Dallas. I'm like, what? I'm like, baseball.
They had some guy
I thought
there
they were
with
talking about rain delay.
the look on his face said it all. Like, and of course, he has calm with, hey, look, I got an umbrella. Look, I'm cool because
because I'm a DB.
I'm a clown.
Yeah. I just walk around with a fucking umbrella in my pocket. I'm fucking Mary Poppins.
Yeah. On there. So, and we got that. That was funny. Also, locally, Juwan Howard said he has no interest in the Laker job. Yeah. There's
Duh. Who would want the Laker job? ADD
well, right
radio?
now it looks like Darvin Ham, Kenny Atkinson.
Darvin Ham. Like the old basketball player Darvin Ham? Like
the old basketball and now Milwaukee Bucks assistant Darvin Ham. And also former Trailblazers coach Terry Stotts are all in on that for the Lakers job.
That's
any coach that's worth his salt say no.
Yeah.
I mean, Juwan said no.
Yeah, nobody's gonna work. You're crippled. You're paralyzed.
And they keep talking about the Pistons are in the running for Russell Westbrook. No, we're not.
And we don't want to be.
We don't want them.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. Like even if we are, that's not a good thing.
You can give us like your first rounders from 25 through 2030, and we're still going to say no.
To be honest with you, the thing with that is I don't want him spreading some of his bad habits to Cade and some of the other young guys. So, and I don't see him being a guy that's going to change or kind of like relinquish to what you call it, to the younger guys. So, yeah, I don't want to touch Westbrook at all. I didn't mean to make that sound weird, but Westbrook is just he's a volume, and his contract is cumbersome. He's one of those cats that, you know what, he just this NBA just doesn't really work for him.
No,
because he's not an efficient shooter. He's a volume shooter.
Right.
And like Reggie Miller could come back and play now.
Oh God, he'd be a
superstar here because he had range and he was an efficient shooter. Ray Allen could play in this league, his style. Now, I know he's not that far removed, but because he always had range and he could shoot, like he was accurate. You can't be a volume shooter in today's NBA.
You have to be an efficient shooter. Like
Ron had to evolve his game. Right. He couldn't just like hold the ball all day long and then dish it at the last second. Like he couldn't.
And with Westbrook being at age 32 now, the explosiveness is gone. He doesn't have that.
Not on a consistent basis. No. You're correct, especially over the course of a long season. You know, he definitely, you can see the difference. Can he still get to the rack? Can he still do some things? Yes. But look, a guy like that is somebody I just don't think fits in today's NBA. But if you're going to bring him in, you don't want to have to pay him much. and he's just a.
You know what he's on?
He's
You
a
know
piece
what the
to a
Lakers are
puzzle.
on the hook for because he has a player option for next year.
Oh Jesus!
$46 million.
Yeah,
You think he's going to say, no, I'm not going to exercise my option. Yeah, he's going to say, hell yeah,
Yep.
pay me
Yep.
because I'm not going to get this again.
Yep.
Pay me my money.
Yep.
Trade me all you want, but I want my money.
Yep. Absolutely.
So who's paying for that $46 million?
Yeah.
Not us, because we don't want him anyways, and especially if we on it. No, you pay it.
Well, that's going to be the thing. Anybody that negotiates, they're going to have to eat some of that salary.
Again, if I'm picking him up on it, you want me to get so you're off the hook? Good. You're eating a salary, and I want a number one. I want multiple number ones for me to pick this crap up.
Yeah, at that point, they wouldn't do it because they just stand
They'll
pat
just
at
sit
you.
bad for a year
Yeah,
on
they
it.
just
So
stamp
again,
it.
they're screwed on there. The Lakers are screwed for, again, I said better part of a decade.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the way the draft is, yeah, they mortgaged their future a long time ago just to get the bubble.
And we said,
the
and
bubble-
we told them
bubble title.
we told them exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, this is all. Yeah, well, this is one of those things, yes, where it is a DSR2. Like we've pounded the table on this since day one, and it's basically pandered out to be exactly what we thought. Although we joked that they might not even get the goddamn bubble one, even though it's like perfectly set up for them, and they did end up getting the bubble title, but that's it. They got their crappy bubble title, and if COVID didn't happen, I don't think they win that year.
No, they don't win that year because they don't get into it. Because the only reason they got into it because they had 4 months off, and
Right.
then they were in the bubble, so they were stuck with listening to LeBron telling them what to do.
Right. They want out of there. You think they just
Because if they had to play those full 4 months, everybody's beat up and bagged up, and they're not making the playoffs. We've seen that the last 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to play in last year, but you got knocked out of the first round.
Yep.
You didn't make it this year.
Yep.
Exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So it's just
So we'll see what happens. I mean, we're seeing right now is are the Sacramento Kings going to do a Sacramento Kings type thing because they want a win now player and they're willing to trade the number 4? Fine. Pull a Jedi mind trick on them. Troy Weaver can do it. Mind trick. Come on. Too bad it wasn't Vladdy. You'll give us the number 4. We'll give you Jeremy Grant, and you'll give us the number 4, and we'll give you this carton of smokes. Smokes.
Smokes. Marlboros.
Non-filters.
Ooh, Lucky Strike. No filters. My favorite.
That's all you need to trade with Vladdy is offer him a carton of smokes. Non-filters, Lucky Strikes, Camels, Marlboros. Menthol, he's gonna like, what the hell is that menthol crap for?
No flavors. That's for kids. That's how they
Not anymore because menthols are going away bye-bye
That's
permanently.
That's why they got classified in with the flavored vapes, and they consider it targeting kids and people of underage. So they're
Those
burnt.
targeted another group on here, and I don't
Well,
like it.
yeah, it targets all kinds of idiots. See, now if we target them idiots, they'll be triggered, and then we have a whole nother game.
No,
going
we
on
won't
here.
get into that. But yeah, who the hell's menthols? Oh.
I smoked cigarettes for quite a long time, and menthols are an acquired taste. I couldn't do it. There's no way I'm smoking a non-filter.
Menthol?
A non-filter
Oh, no.
anything.
Oh God! Well, I do the cigars, but it's a different type of.
I say you're smoking that differently because
Yes.
first off, you're not inhaling that shit.
Nope.
So you're kind of just soaking it in.
And again, most of your tobacco, especially if you're getting a quality tobacco from a quality cigar manufacturer, it's all natural. It's not pumped full of all the other bullshit that's inside.
Sure. And I don't. There's no filter, but
I'm not breathing that into my lungs.
I punch, so I don't have even a big opening. So that's kind of how I do it. But yeah, I mean, even it doesn't matter. I mean, who knows what you're putting in your stupid filter?
Yeah. That's where they put the heroin.
Yeah, we used to joke about that too. Exactly. That's where all the good shit's at right there. Pump it all the way down tit. All the way down tit. You fucking melt that motherfucker. Fucking hot box your fingers until you burn them. You got yellow fingers from smoking cigarettes.
It's the old Dennis Leary. You could call him tumors and put a skull and crossbones on the cover and say, you know what? And they'll be lined up around the block. Oh, these things give you a tumor as soon as you smoke them. Ah.
Yeah. He was a huge fucking a huge smoker, like guru or whatever. I don't know what to say.
Chain smoker, one after the other.
Yeah, he was a spokesman for Philip Morris apparently. It's insane. Because he would chain smoke even in his shows, his live sets and shit. He'd be like, and joke about, hey, give me I want a tracheotomy so I can put cigarettes in and smoke them in the give me a bunch of tracheotomies. I'll smoke 6 cigarettes at the same time. You tracheotomy, man. This goes on and on. It's like, dang.
So also DeAndre Ayton agents confirms he wants a max offer from the Suns. So again, they keep talking about the Pistons. Dude, we're not giving him a max offer. We've actually probably have a viable GM. It's like, no, not happening.
See, this is the whole thing. You're only given, how many max players are you signing?
Right.
So, like, be real about it.
We got into a cap-friendly environment right now where we have guys cheap and we have money. But I'm not wasting it on... You know what? I'd rather give half that money and try to get Marvin Bagley on there and see what we got for a short-term deal for a couple of years on there first over getting DeAndre Ayton. That ain't happening. We saw what he did this year in the playoffs, and no.
Well, that's part of it too. Like sit back a minute. There's not a rush at the moment, but I would, you got to get some value out of that salary cap space you've got. And if you're going to sign a max deal, you're going to do it to one guy because you think that, he's going
to put you over the hump.
Yeah, this is going to be the time.
DeAndre Ayton's not it.
He doesn't feel like he's that guy I don't know. He just doesn't feel like that guy. Not to hate on him.
I don't want to do another one. Oh, we got the money and it's burning a hole in my pockets. We're going to sign guys.
Joe D did that, remember?
Charlie Villanueva.
And Ben Gordon.
Oh my God, yes. That was terrible. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You got this money. Everybody's coming out free agent the next year. Save the money.
Yeah, just wait one more year and then get a bunch of, they would have been a player for a ton of cats because you're a team that just came off of a championship run.
Right. And you got oh my God.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It's like,
yeah, I didn't get that at all.
That was the one I'm like, just like going, shaking my head like, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it must have been a prime directive or something there's no way. Because Joe D didn't operate like that prior.
No.
So why would he do that now all of a sudden? So that might have came up over his head. He might have been forced to. Didn't Joe D get a new gig?
He's working for the Kings of all people.
Is there? That's what I thought. Thought he got a new gig. I couldn't remember exactly what it was or who it was with, but it was a front office gig, I thought.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. But anyway. But we were talking earlier. I still think it's going to be, come full circle. I still think it's
Golden State
and Boston, is to lose. And this year, once again, who is Boston? Is this year's Boston a super team? I mean, you have Tatum, obviously.
You got Tatum and Brown, Smart, Horford.
It feels more
They're
workmanlike.
on the cusp of that possibility.
I think
it
feels more. To me, it's okay, and maybe this is where you're gonna go. To me, it's more like halfway, but it's leans closer to the 04 Pistons.
Yes,
but it's kind of closer to. It's
kind of an in between under because you do
yeah.
have that come out. You have that kind of like workmanship and that basically grind it out with the 04 Pistons.
Right.
But you do have a superstar in Jason Tatum.
You do, And I'm trying to think when you looked at bringing in Sheed. Now, they didn't draft Sheed, obviously, but
they traded for Sheed.
But Sheed was a superstar when
Yes.
we brought him in.
He was the closest.
And he so, in the end, it has a similar makeup. So
Yes.
this team might be classified. This might be the matchup of super team and workman team and who's going to win it all. It could be. I mean, if you look at it, we'll see how the rest of the series plays out for Boston. We're pretty convinced that I think the Washington game starts at 10 tonight, right? Is that tonight?
What we get?
I mean, not the that's what I say. The West Coast games tonight, right?
No, it's Boston and the Heat are
Right
just
now.
right now.
Oh, okay. So then the West Coast game is tomorrow.
And that's where probably the Warriors close out.
Yeah, that should close out. So we'll find out tomorrow, what happens with that, because I think that'll be done. But, what happens with them? Do they blow them out and get some time? Do they lose? Is it a close game? Do these guys play a lot of minutes trying to win this game? Is there a freak injury? So a lot can happen even if it's only one more game. But I expect that Boston game, that series to go 7. So
Yeah, I think the Boston Miami does go 7, and I think Golden State close out Dallas next week or tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, yeah, I'm with you. So some NHL stuff. There's been some good stuff.
Yeah,
We can get into that. We've got I don't know what else is out there on the. We got a little MLB maybe. Do you want to get into?
we'll get into a little MLB. We'll kind of make fun of the golfer that blew the PGA Championship.
Okay, we got some golf stuff. I
a
missed
little
that.
joke on there.
Oh yeah, I missed that. Okay, good.
And looks like Brittany Griner will get. They're going to work out a prisoner release on there, a swap there.
So how is that going to work, right? Because I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, the very pessimistic, cynical human being thought she was already gone, like, because we didn't hear anything for a long time. So now they're going to do an exchange. What does this exchange entail? And I know Silver was talking about being involved, the NBA being involved in getting her back because the WNBA, sister company, whatever, and like it felt like he had maybe more information than like the public knowledge. But like what is this situation?
They're talking about a prisoner release exchange, and it's holding a Russian arms dealer for basically doing some illegal arms trading in that here. So we've held him in prison. I think he's been in prison for a couple of years in that. So they pretty much sucked all the information out of him, and we don't need him anymore. So we'll just use him as okay, you can have him back, and we want her back. And that's what it is. Again, and people are all great, but like, dude, if you don't think she was a petty or did she have maybe possibly on there, but
I doubt
could
it.
she could have been a setup? Could she been framed?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's more likely.
I wouldn't put it past them whatsoever.
Yep.
Basically, there's a war going on. We're going to snag her at the border.
I just don't know anybody that would be that careless. I just don't feel like she's that careless.
No.
Like to do something like that. I feel like this shit was planted because it was a perfect opportunity to snag up somebody that was high profile enough to be able to manipulate. And we don't typically do that. Negotiate like that, a swap. And that's going to be a while. You think of those crazy movies you watch where they do like a
going to a bridge there in in East Germany, and they're on a bridge. You cross the border. You're all right. Keep walking. You cross it on there, and you keep walking as you pass each other.
Oh my goodness, just craziness. So, to me, that just is so wild. I just just fathoming this whole situation is so effing crazy, and obviously no one publicly has seen anything from her or heard anything or knows anything really.
Oh.
So like, I haven't heard anything about, like, I don't know. To me, it's just weird. Like, they just didn't even bring up the communications. They never said, "Hey, we're working to." Like, I just feel like it's just like, okay, yeah, no, she's over there. She's been over there. She's gonna be over there, and we'll try to get her back. But whatever. And And now all of a sudden she's going to be back. So obviously there's been heavy negotiations and things going on, but it feels like it was very hush-hush.
Yeah.
Though, and I am curious of what Adam Silver know. And I wish I was one of these big. I would work at the mothership, Big Moose, because if I got Silver on, I'd ask him the shit none of these cats are asking. How are you getting this information? What do you know about what's your level of involvement? And don't pussyfoot around this shit.
Right.
And what's going on here? And is this like a legitimate thing? Are we gonna find out this ain't even she is already dead, and they're just gonna ambush your ass? Like, what are we doing here? Like, this could be like, because like you said, like I said, I'm looking at it from like, I'm thinking all these crazy scenarios that could possibly happen, doing some fucking wild exchange with people that are obviously proven they'll do anything to do with it. So like, it's just, I just see this sinister you would see in a movie of this botched swap, and they don't even have her.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
So I'm sure that they've done some things, and there's some, to ensure.
We've got, I mean, behind the scenes and under in our intelligence agency, definitely. I think our intelligence has enough information on there.
So wild to me, though.
But it is definitely crazy out there with it and everything on there. So yeah.
Now, what is that? I will never, if I'm an Olympian. I'm fine, and
you might as well kiss.
I would never go.
WNBA players playing over there in the off season. Guess what? Pro sports in Russia are dead.
I wouldn't. To me, I'm not doing. I don't even want to be in other countries where there's a chance that something like that could happen. Like, I'm done. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to China or any of those places either if they have it.
Right.
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
play in Spain and France or Italy, but what over there in those other like in China, that ain't happening.
So yeah,
playing in Argentina, that ain't happening.
No, exactly.
No, again,
that's what I'm saying, man. That's too crazy. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like trying to fathom all of that stuff, and like you said, the involvement of like the government's intelligence and probably going to be some kind of special forces unit involved in doing this transaction, and what could be going on. It's just so wild. It's out of a crazy ass movie. It's out of a movie.
Oh yeah.
And not to be a dick, I can't wait till they make it. Right? In 10 years or 15 years.
As long as it's not Michael Bay directing it out.
No, hopefully he's dead, and him and M. Night Shyamalan can go somewhere.
I want the Russo brothers to direct this.
Right.
I trust them.
Right.
Their track record is much better than Michael Bay.
Yes. Shit.
All right, so we got still lots to talk about. We're gonna cut it right after the flip side. Some NHL action going on there. Plus, we've got some MLB action. Plus, we'll get into all sorts of craziness out there and silliness on there on the flip side as well. We are DSR2 Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of ground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air. And now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your Old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren, and the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate. Tire. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them a call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's the Lodge Service Drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you're loving life, you need to be in the club.
We are taking over this broadcast for the Ultimate Underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the Ultimate Underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, what should I say, infamous venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the Ultimate Underground is going to take over a broadcast. need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day, for clues on when and where the next Ultimate Underground may happen. Now, there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the Ultimate Underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do to keep you hot on the streets. Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop. Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules that make Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 586-420-3390 or log on to studio57records.com. Remember one thing, baby. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, the streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57. And if Studio 57 radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
All right, Rebels, we are back. The silliness shall return per usual. We're gonna have a little bit of fun with the show. Hope you guys are having fun. Appreciate you guys getting in on the conversation. Studio 57 Radio across the board on social media. Of course, Studio57Radio.com is where it's really at. I got a few little texts just kind of laughing and joking with us. I appreciate you guys. And we're going to have some fun. So we're going to keep things rolling, talk a little NHL, MLB, and whatever else you want to get into. We'll get that text line open for you. And, of course, like I said, social media across the band. Anyway, you like that stuff, you're looking for Studio 57 Radio and DSR2. So let's get back to it with hour 2 of DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here's your host,
Hey, we're back here for the second hour of DSR2 on this meh Wednesday here.
It's a Wednesday in meh.
Wednesday in meh. On there. So in case you missed it, we talked a lot about the NBA action going on there in the first hour. We had some fun about everything with it. Yes, James Worthy is the grumpy old man now screaming at clouds and that get off my lawn. Complaining about super teams. Dude, you were you were drafted into the super team.
I got a lot of skull emojis for the Magic Johnson sloppy seconds comment, and I really appreciate our listeners for being as gnarly as I am. You guys rule, and I love you all. Thank you for listening. No, that is
I did Magic last night. You know what? I'm good to go. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wish I could say stuff like that in the wrestling promotion. I love saying crazy, stupid stuff, channeling my inner Bobby, and I'd love to that. But the stuff I say here, I couldn't get away with that.
No.
That's why I love this show, because I can say whatever I want. I don't even care what the consequences are to what I say, and I don't care.
So yeah, last as we did our show on there, we had game 1 of Calgary and Edmonton, and like within 30 seconds of it starting, it was already 2-0.
I know, that was crazy.
And then within the first on there, so they got in a while, won 9-6 in that first one, and yet after that, Edmonton wins the next.
Amazing.
Connor McDavid has gotten 20 points in his playoffs already.
That's insane.
And they're not even done with the round.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's on pace for like 50 points, something
in
like
the
that.
playoffs.
I know. That's insanity.
Yes. And of course, we can come back and win 3. No, you're not coming back and winning shit.
No.
No.
Not with that kind. No.
No. So we got that going on. Kane's on there. Basically, was it that series is 2-2 now? They were on there. They've lost 5 in a row on the road. They've raised their tickets to stop the Ranger fans.
Yes.
So your season tickets got your tickets on there, but anything that's like individual game on there, guess what? We're gonna stick it to you.
We're gonna stick it to you.
On that, right now we got Avalanche and St. Louis. That's tonight. That's 2-0 already on that one. So, yeah, I mean these playoffs have been crazy. I mean, it's just like you just look out and you see teams go, okay, I mean, on and just like, damn. I mean, we thought the Panthers and the Lightning was going to be a good series, and that was over in 4.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how that went down.
As good as the Panthers played all season long, and all of a sudden they just walked in Tampa walked in there and just like, hold my beer, I'm going to just hammer you.
Yep. They did.
Going to their 3rd straight Eastern Conference Finals. And if they do get to, they could be the first team since the Islanders to win 3 in a row.
Yeah. Well, and then you're talking about a team that won 4 in a row and with one of the most dominant
They were dynasty.
teams.
They were one of the dynasties on there.
That's
which is amazing on there because you had them go 4 in a row.
Right.
And then before them, you had Montreal go 4 in a row.
Yeah, those Islander teams were dominant. And, and you haven't seen anything like that really since. So
close would have been Edmonton because they won 2, lost in 86, won 2 more.
Right.
Lost in 89, and then won again in 90. So they won 5 and 7.
Right. Which, that is impressive, without a doubt.
But then again, I could have scored 100 points on that team, on that Edmonton team, with Gretzky and Messier and Curry and Coffey and.
Well, that's kind of like wasn't it last year where it was like Canada versus America in the for NHL because of the way they had it zoned. That was last year, the year before. I can't even remember.
The year before you had Edmonton, yeah.
So you had that's kind of a these guys aren't even supposed to be here. Probably some of these teams might not have made the playoffs. It was weird. So you don't have a lot of those anomalies that happen, but there are some. So, but winning five championships in 7 years is not an outlier. Or an anomaly. That's just amazing consistency. As much as we talk about how great the Patriots were, or some of these other teams across sports, how many won 5 championships in 7 years? I mean, that's not a lot. It doesn't matter what sport you're talking about. So, that's impressive from a dynasty standpoint. But 3-4 in a row is just hard, no matter who you are. It just gets harder to continue that. It's the war of attrition we talk about, I think, is part of it.
I mean,
I think
especially on hockey, if you go 3 in a row, say if they win 3 in a row or 4 in a row.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're sweeping everybody out of the playoffs.
Yes, that's a lot. That's a lot of damn games. Yeah. You got to win 16 games to win it.
And most teams play 20, almost 30 games.
Say probably? 24 to 30. Yeah. if you're going, everything's going 7 games before. That's 28 games if you go 7 games in every series.
Yeah, so you're
playing in 22 to 24 games.
right, more than likely.
That's a quarter of the season.
It's crazy at a level that's
Yes, because
ridiculous.
again, remember, you're getting multiple overtime games in these playoff games.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, and the reason is too. That's the scheming, right? You're able to scheme in these 7-game series,
Yes.
for hockey shifts are different. You're doing line shifts, and you're trying to match up 40 seconds here and 20 seconds there and whatever, and yeah, dude, it's wild and impressive, and I just think when you look at any season for any sport, when you play that many extra games than everybody else, all your contemporaries, you're just going to be that much more worn and beat down, for lack of a better way to explain it. I just don't. It's hard. It's really, really hard to three-peat, and 4 is. I don't know that we will see 4 in a row, but I mean, if you're gonna, Tampa's a team, man. I don't know what to say. They've been playing well.
They're
Like,
on there.
I want Stevie Y to build another one of them teams and bring it here. So
And hopefully
we can get 5 in 7 years.
Yeah, right on there. Yeah, I mean, we got 5 and 7. If you look at the Canadians during the 70s, they won 6 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
70, 71, 72, 73, and then the 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And we're not even. I mean, we're talking the modern, because when it's just the original 6. I mean, they won 5 in a row with the original 6.
Yeah, but that's kind of like
That's a lot. I mean, but to play in that 70s, where you, especially that last year when we absorbed the WHL on there, that was a lot different down there. But yeah, to win, dude, they won 24 championships in their lifetime, in their
Crazy.
exception, which is insane. And we've seen them win. I was old enough to see them win the 4 in a row. I remember that, and then the 85, 86, and then 92, 91. And so, just amazing on there, and it's great on there. And again, looking at Edmonton on there, seeing Connor McDavid play the way he has, dude. We've been saying this for year after year after year. He's the best player in hockey. Period.
Why don't they market the shit out of this guy?
Because he's in Edmonton.
So
If he ever came up to free agent and came here to Detroit, they'd market the shit out of him.
Well, my whole thing is the league should be marketing the shit out of him.
It's Bettman. He's a boob.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Wasn't he just basically a fucking puppet for the owners? Like,
Yes.
but wouldn't the league itself?
Well, he was
be-
David Stern's idiot assistant. So
I think that for the betterment of the league, you'd be marketing all your like top guys, and he would be the first one.
yeah, Connor McDavid should be marketed on there. He should be marketed like Gretzky was marketed. But
Right.
Gretzky, when he came on there was like the young kid out there. You just go,
Absolutely, yeah. No, I got you.
how he looked. He saw everything, like everything was in slow motion for him.
Right.
McDavid's the same way, but I mean, back then too. With how the game was played in the 80s, it was so wide open.
Right.
And now you're getting a combination. It's better than it was in that late 90s, early 2000s, where it's like that neutral zone trap, and
Oh,
it was
I
just
know,
like
that sucked.
it was painful to watch. I like seeing openness. I like
Yeah.
seeing it back and forth playing that.
Yep.
Yeah, you're seeing some of these goaltenders. I mean, especially Tampa Bay, 40-something saves,
50-something
saves.
saves.
I
Oh
mean,
my god!
dude.
He's got to stand on your head to make 50 saves. It's
So
insane.
yeah, Connor McDavid is the 4th fastest to get to point wise for 23 points in his first 10 playoff games of the season. Gretzky had 29 points in 1983
Wow.
in 10 games, 25 in 1985, and Lemieux had 25 in 92.
It's
But again,
rarefied air right there. though.
yes,
I mean, let's be real. And he's how old?
McDavid is now what? I want to say like 26 or so.
Yeah, 26, 27. So you got him.
He's in the prime.
Yeah.
Again, if he comes as a free agent wise, he's out of Edmonton. They can't afford to keep him.
You wouldn't think so.
Dude,
How do you let him go? I mean, is the
well, they traded Gretzky.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, but maybe they don't want to make that mistake again.
Well, they did get him a cup in 90. Of course, then after that, everybody kind of went. They got Messier went to the
Right.
Rangers, and Coffee went around a couple different teams, and yeah, Curry and Messi and Anderson were pretty much done, and McSorley went to a couple. He ended up going to Pittsburgh and a nice career with Pittsburgh and everything with it. But yeah, I mean it's great to watch. I mean, again, I like to see Edmonton on it, and again, it's actually Calgary's a pretty good team too. But dude, they're gonna have to they're not gonna be able to keep everybody either for the salary cap with it. They just don't have the money.
Right. Yeah.
Up there in Canada. Sure. And again, it's nice to see 2 Canadian teams out there. And I do like to see Edmonton get to the finals. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Edmonton win it. I love it. I just don't like their new uniforms this year. Terrible. Go back to, you had a great classic uniform. Just stick with it. Like the Wings. Classic. You don't need to fuck around with perfection.
Yes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, it should be some good games. I mean, really moving forward, I would think.
3-0 Colorado over St. Louis.
Oh wow, already okay. What was that? The second period then?
5 minutes into the second.
Yeah. Yep. That's the. We're taught. You mentioned it earlier about the saves, man, and the disparity on some of these games is kind of wild too. That these scores can be as close, or these games can be as good as they are, with a dude getting peppered 54 fucking times with a puck, and another dude getting popped for 30 times. I think what you're finding when you look at Tampa is that when you find your young goaltender, if you find that guy and you use him as your cornerstone, you can. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's basically what Yzerman did with Tampa. I mean, he got himself a goalie that I don't think anybody saw coming, and he's sitting on his effing head. I forget his name. I don't know why I'm blank. But I'm looking
Valesky off.
Yeah, my brain sucks at that stuff. But I was looking at one of his things, and I think they won, but he stopped like 52 shots or something like that, or 52 goals or whatever it was. And I'm thinking, and I look at the other side, and it was like 26, and I'm like, but that's really the position. I feel like the NHL is almost gone to where the goalie is, not that it wasn't like that before, but the goalie's almost like your quarterback position, right? Like if you don't have that top tier stand on his head, block 50 shots, if you don't have that guy, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Come playoff times or win championships. And if you do have that guy and you do have him at a good price, then you can build this dynasty. So to me, the cornerstone, the model, that they're using in Tampa is it's spot on, and it's proven now at this point. I expect them to represent, or they could possibly, or definitely could possibly represent. So.
Yeah, if you look at the top scoring leaders for playoff hockey, the top 3 are all Edmonton Oilers. McDavid, Drisante, and Evander Kane.
Super team.
And then obviously is Valesky Sky on there, Andre on there from Tampa is basically up there in goalie wise for especially the number of saves and everything with it on there. But yeah, I mean it's Connor McDavid's plus minus in these playoffs. He's a plus 17. 10 games.
I want to do a super team. Oh no, that's insane. Now, how do you do a super team in the NHL? Because I would definitely classify some of the Wings teams as super teams.
Yes. Oh, especially that 0-2 team was a super team.
Oh yeah,
that was a super team of a super team on there, and that was basically is you were salary cap free, so you could basically get whoever you wanted to.
Yes.
They did draft well. They did be great. I mean, they drafted great. Yeah, Yzerman, Fedorov, Lindstrom. I mean, they just had.
They hit the
Ozzy. I mean, on there they drafted and they made trades and everything with it on there. And that was, again, that goes to the genius really of that era was Scotty Bowman.
Right.
And of course, people are now like, oh, they need to bring back Scotty Bowman. Scotty Bowman's got to be pushing like 86 and 87 years old.
Isn't he working somewhere like?
No, he's fine. Basically, his son was the general manager with Chicago, and he stepped down.
Okay.
So he quit on there. So yeah, Scotty's finally, you know what? I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, but
6 decades. He's been involved in, essentially 6 decades.
But what if he was like an advisor? Just like, he didn't like come to the building or anything. He's just like, you can just pick his brain.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I bet you for sure as I was talking to him and picking his brain.
That's
about
what I'm
some
hoping.
things.
He's got him like as some kind of
With it.
mentor.
And for Coach Wise's, looks like they are going to talk to Barry Trotz and see what happens. I would love to get Barry Trotz in here as a head coach on there. Again, he won with Pittsburgh. He's won
anything
with
is better than
Washington.
Blashill.
Oh God, Blashill was terrible with it. And we'll see what they do this year. And again, maybe open up the pocketbooks and get some free agent wise on there, and make a trade. Again, there's only 2 guys on this team that are basically you can't trade, and that's Sider and Lucas Raymond. That's it. Everybody else is on. You know what? Price is right. Everybody's available except for those 2.
Yeah, Sider can't go.
Sider's locked in here for a decade.
Yeah, and then I think they need to. So the goalie situation is still, I think.
They've got a couple kids in the system in that. I know they just officially signed the one kid from Sweden, the 6'6" goalie. So just lay him down sideways.
Yeah.
You know what? Here, we're going to give you one of Waz's old jerseys because that actually will fit you like a normal person.
Yeah, like a normal person.
Not the flying squirrel suit that he wore.
I know, he was like the smallest dude ever. You think he's huge, and then he comes and gets out of his stuff, and you're like, "Whoa, dude, you're tiny. You're like 5'6", 130 pounds."
Yeah. Well, that was Vernon. Was like a wee
I know.
little lad,
Yeah.
but again, he had. I mean, standing toe to toe. Wow was like about 6'3". He wasn't a spawner, but again, people under making Wiles like the greatest goalie in history. Dude, he's the 3rd best goalie in Montreal's history.
Yeah. Well, people say stuff, and I think you got to think about it for a second, because think about what you're saying. It's the same thing with the super team comment. Like, think about what you're just saying. Just sit back. And then my comment to you was, how many teams that win championships aren't super teams? Because that's a way shorter list. So, yeah, it's just one of those things like, yeah.
I mean, you look on and you look at with it. I mean, we go the last 45 years and there's only 3.
All right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in the 70s, you could say maybe like I think the 75 Warriors may have been on that one.
But when you start breaking down,
but that's about it. I mean,
right.
but
when you start breaking down goalies, the greatest goalies, Wag just starts falling down the list.
Greatest best goalie I personally have ever seen on there. Still, I say is Brodeur.
Right.
Martin. I mean,
right.
He's the best goalie I've ever seen on there.
I guess
number 2, I got to go Kenny Dryden.
Sure. But I mean, there's like my whole point is I can just look at, you just said 3 better on it that were of the same organization, but like I can just look at his peers and
Brodeur is better than Wah.
Yeah. I mean, so I just...
Well, I was a really good goalie on it, but he was good. He was a great goalie. He's a Hall of Fame goalie, but he was not the greatest goalie of all time. I still say it's Brodeur. And again, I don't remember. I'm too young to see Sawchuk. And again, I would hear Sawchuk was him and Brodeur were the end all be all.
Sure.
I mean, especially got to say Sawchuk because he didn't play with a mask for half his career.
That shit's crazy.
Get stitched up, come back out, and say, "Fuck it, I'm going to finish the game."
That is so mad. That's madness.
Insane.
That is madness to me.
Goalies are a different breed, though.
You gotta be, but that's insane.
But especially when it's the original 6, because these goalies just travel around all the different teams, trading back and forth. Because we had Sawchuk and Glenn Hall, then Roger Crozier. So these guys go back and forth with it on it. But yeah, I'm just going back from 19 on there when they basically did the first expansion. And I still say Dryden on there for that team as a basically didn't even play his rookies, comes in there with 12 games left, comes in, wins the Conn Smythe, the next year wins the Calder Trophy. So don't tell me, dude, that's how good Dryden was.
Yeah.
And Boston traded him to Montreal for nothing.
Not a hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah. Of course, they did have, I
Box
still
Crack
say is
Jacks.
probably top greatest player of all time and arguably top 2 best defenseman of all time. Boston was with Bobby Orr. Under. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say is the only one
Yeah.
that I would put comparable in defenseman for Bobby. It's Nicholas Lindstrom.
Yeah, I was about to say Lindstrom. Would
Lindstrom
be a
is number
nice
2.
second.
And again, you can go back and forth
Yeah.
with Under. Or was more game-changing offensive-wise Under than there, but I think Lindstrom was a better defenseman.
Sure.
Because
And
again,
and
having
Lindstrom, don't. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like Lindstrom wasn't an offensive defenseman. It's
right.
just
I mean,
we're splitting
led the
hairs
league
here,
in
basically.
point scoring
sure,
points as
sure.
a defenseman, can go coast to coast and do things you've never seen before Under as a defenseman wise with it. But yeah, I mean, you go with I would say Howe and Gretzky is the best 3 players I've ever seen.
I mean, I guess I got to see how technically, but I think it was like a Vipers
Yeah.
game or something.
I mean, I saw the All-Star game when he was 52 years old and on there with it. But, I mean, again, how good is he? They actually have a stat named after him. It's unofficial. It's the Gordie Howe hat trick.
Yes.
A goal, assist, and a fight.
Yes, those were always.
And you didn't want to get in a fight with him because he'd
He'd
beat the
your
snot
ass.
out of you.
Yeah, yeah. He's one of those old school roughneck, beat you down. Yeah.
I mean, players back then, too, were 5'9", 5'10", tops, if that, Under.
Sure.
And you got this animal that's 6'3", 225 pounds.
Right.
That can skate with you and then basically grab you, throw you to the board.
Well, it's funny because when everybody thinks of Gordie Howe later in his life, they don't think of him as like this. I think a lot
kindly
of people
old
now,
gentleman, the old nice.
Yeah, because so much time's passed. I mean, unless you're like a fan of hockey for a long time, I think you look at Gordie Howe with those even people that were around and seen him play still kind of maybe lean that way because of. I don't know. I don't want to say it's like a PR move, but just the way he was portrayed late in his career.
I still remember again. Keith Oberon had one of the greatest stories on there, Gordy, and he's talking about when he met him when he's like 1969. He's a kid and that, and then he meets him later doing a commercial for ESPN.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, "I got my ass kicked by a 67-year-old without even trying."
Yeah. Yeah, that's a grizzled veteran right there. Like no doubt, he was.
When did it hurt? When Gordy hit you, when did it hurt?
Everywhere.
Before or after? Both.
Yes.
It hurt when he hit you. Then you felt better, and then later on, it hurt even worse.
Yeah.
Both.
I believe it.
All right, so we got some baseball action going on here.
Yeah, it's crazy because they got double headers and stuff, and then they got a condensed schedule, and it's gonna be weird. No,
yeah,
a little bit,
yeah,
a little bit.
I mean, it's been a crazy spring wise with weather and everything with it, and on with it. But yeah, it's a little craziness out there.
Tigers are hot garbage. Can I say this?
They can't score.
They're the bottom 5 in anything significant offensively. They're terrible.
When your best hitter is a 39-year-old, it's just not.
I don't get what happened to progress. I thought there was a point in time here where we were going to get a little progress this year. Why? Let's head right.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like we've already wasted enough time on this dude.
I mean, people are bitching about Baez, but then again, you look at every free agent shortstop that signed out there. Korea's having a worse season than Baez is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not down necessarily for but I mean, the Baez contract is one thing, but they're not getting better, and I just don't get why. And so to me, it's on Avila. They gotta obviously move some pieces, get some pieces, spend some money. It feels like that's not necessarily an issue per se, but you're gonna have to not just spend money this year. I think you're gonna have to do or this off season or coming up or in free agency, but you're gonna have to continue to spend money. because you got Homeboy to come here, but you got to draw in other talent before he just walks out of here.
Yes.
And whatever. So like, I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if they're trying to recreate the way we did things when we made that resurgence back in when Miggy, back in the
when we got Leland
with
in 06,
Maglio and we had a Leland and all that going on. Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to mimic that and just failing miserably or what's going on, but it's regressing.
Yes,
it's regressing greatly.
It is on there. I mean, we are epically terrible at scoring runs on there, because even if we were just middle of the road on there, we'd be up about 500.
Well,
because they're getting decent pitching.
Right. I was gonna say defensively they're good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're pretty good.
Yeah. They're getting really decent pitching out of the starters and the bullpen wise on there. But yeah, the offensive wise were terrible. Just god awful terrible. With it. Like what the hell? I mean, and there was some expectations for this team. This is a team like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
This is a team like, okay, we expected, 500 or a little bit above, or a wild card, and they're just epically terrible wise with it. You look on there. I mean, the only team. I mean, Cincinnati scored more runs, but Cincinnati is like their pitching staff is just horrendous.
It is, and that, and this is the thing, because analytics and all this stuff tell you to swing for the fences and strikeouts don't matter and all that. With that philosophy kind of starting to absorb baseball, you get some of these weird ass games because, you don't have teams that are all that defensive. And so, and then if these guys are touching the ball because they're shooting the long ball, you're getting some of these wild games. Like you see it all over the place, Moose. How many games have we seen with like 12 runs scored and crazy stuff like that in the past couple of years, especially. So it's a little bit of a different game. No one steals bases anymore.
No.
If we stole some bases, that might help. Didn't that drop drastically too from last year? Like as far as our on pace?
Yeah, right now is the lead leader in stolen bases have 12.
Right.
Quarter through the season.
Right.
So you're not going to even have one guy with 50 stolen bases.
That's crazy. So it's just
whereas you got Aaron Judge with 17 home runs already.
So why? My whole thing is, why are we not manufacturing stuff like that and doing things like that as far as like just trying to get rid of a little bit different? So that's another thing. I don't want to put a lot on Hinch. I like Hinch, but I kind of wonder why we're not adapting to what's going on. I mean, if Avila's that bad, like I said, we had expectations for this team to get better this year, and they've regressed like significantly. And that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that happens. It's going to be a long summer, Moose. When we do the Midsummer Spectacular, I am going to be shaking my head an awful lot around the campfire listening to baseball games because I'm sure as hell not watching them.
No.
And even listening.
That's the only time I have them on.
And even listening to them is going to be a rough go this year, dude.
Yeah, if I'm at work, whatever they're on, I'll probably listen to them. Maybe have it on the the phone on there, and I can watch it on Bally's through the phone and at the app and that.
Sure.
And that's about. But if I'm out, I'm not making. I'm going to stay inside and watch that game. No, if I'm outside on the weekends and that, I'll have it on because it's something on, and I'm doing yard work or whatever. Right. But yeah, I'm not making a point to watch it on there with it right now.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad baseball. I don't even know what they can do. Now or before the trade deadline or whatever. I don't know what they can even do this year. Like we said, we were talking about, the analogy with the Pistons. You might just want to hold out and try to make a move next year, but I just don't know. You're going to get Miggy off the books soon, right?
After next year, I believe he's off the books.
Yeah, so like I don't know if you're trying to hold out, but I don't think sitting on Avila is the answer, that's for sure.
Well, here's a kicker, 100. Justin Verlander leads the league, MLB, in 3 out of the 4 stats for pitchers.
Yeah, I know.
Wins, earned run, and whip. His earned run is now down to 1.22, and his whip is 0.72.
gangster after Tommy John at his age.
At 39 years old.
Yeah, amazing. Yep, 40-year-old pitcher with Tommy John surgery. If you said that in the 80s or whatever it was, 90s even, you'd be done.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
You'd be done.
He tears his Tommy John at 37 years old. Yeah, in the early 80s, he's done. Comes back and he's not even.
Now he's it's almost like the kid in the Disney movie. Like he's just throwing them harder now.
Yeah, he's not throwing up to 100, but he's still throwing it.
I know. He's still got smoke for his age.
He's still throwing 98 when he needs it.
Yeah, he's still got smoke for
You know
age.
what it is his mind is so than everybody else is out there. He knows what his body can do, and he can basically place that ball wherever he wants.
Okay, check it. So he does have a very good placement and control of the ball, but you know what made him? He doesn't tip his pitches.
No.
At all.
He's
like that same keyhole, as you say,
right.
Every single time. The stroke looks the same every single time.
Yeah.
The step, the follow through, everything looks the same every single. The way it comes out of his hands looks the same every single time. So yeah, you can't mess with that, especially when he was throwing near 100.
Right.
Like, how do you take that crazy changeup that he's got, and then that fastball?
Yeah, he's throwing that changeup around 80, and he could throw it
and
around.
The bottom drops out of that son of a bitch.
And then the next pitch, he's throwing at 98, and it's
Right.
coming right high and inside. You go, what the hell?
Right.
I mean, his mechanics are flawless.
Yeah. And like I said, man, if you're not, that's the key to, everybody talks about it. That's the key. If you talk to any hitter, the key is to, like, is this guy giving me something before? And that's what you're looking for, because everybody could throw the smoke. Everybody's got to have a second, third pitch. You got to.
Yeah.
So all these guys got even more pitches sometimes. And so you got to be able to, and Verlander just amazing the way he plays age, and he's like the Tom Brady of baseball at this point. And
yeah,
as far as longevity goes,
this should end any argument on who's the best pitcher of our generation. Everybody says Kershaw because he's a lefty and all that, but dude, Kershaw's dropped off, and Verlander does like he's missing a beat.
No. Yeah, I'm just from a longevity standpoint, from a production standpoint, from what he's been able to pull off in his career, especially at this point.
The only thing is he's not been coming into World Series, but like in the playoffs and that, ask the Yankees.
Oh yeah,
because it was bitch.
Yep.
Yeah. Enjoyed that too.
Oh, well, of course he did, especially after his runs here in Detroit. You know?
Yeah, go. Oh, yeah,
so
good
time. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But it's just gonna be hard to watch this year, man. It's gonna be really hard to watch. And when you look and you know what frustrates me, because you have like the opposite thing going on here, like the Dodgers and some of these other teams will buy and get, and we have the ability to do the same, but don't really. So it don't really do it or execute it properly. So it's gonna be frustrating. It's gonna turn. You know, Detroit sports fan, and before we get close in here, because my shoulders. As a Detroit sports fan, there's not a whole lot to look to in the future. But when you start looking at the Lions as being your mostly like payment value, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, right
For
now,
the
as we thought the Tigers be the one that Tigers and Wings be battling it out first.
Yeah.
Now it looks like Wings, Pistons, Lion on there. Also, in the NFL came out there. They got there with the city of St. Louis. So the NFL have to pay the city of St. Louis $790 million on that move.
Oh, yeah, for bailing out.
Each is on the hook for $7.5 million. He's bitching and moaning about, I didn't agree to pay all the damn costs on there for
right. Of course.
You
of
know,
course not.
Fuck you. You pay.
Well, come on, man. Rich people don't do that. That's why they're rich. Come on, man.
Yeah, you moved them in there. You got your $5 million damn stadium. You hosted the Super Bowl. You won the Super Bowl. Pay up. Pay the man his money.
No, man. Rich, I don't give up money. I won't be rich. Yeah. Some bitch. Anyway, thanks, Chris and Jay and everybody else for getting in on the conversation. My elbow and shoulder is like starting to bother me. I've been sitting in this chair And Moose, you don't mind if I call us a few minutes?
No,
early?
we can call it. We're just a
Okay.
few minutes.
Yeah.
We covered everything out here. This with craziness out there and on there. So we definitely we covered everything. Where let's give you an update on
Yeah,
the
you get
scores
the
as they're
update, as we're getting things rolling here.
rapid. Everybody's internet is just.
Yeah, it's just snug in.
Okay, so we got the Heater up at halftime, 42-37, and it is C1 with 2.5 minutes in the second period.
42
Avalanche.
Okay, well, that's in striking distance and 42-37.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good game right there. Definitely going to soak up some of that basketball game before I crash. But I added a couple weeks ago, and I just kind of gotten back to working and doing the full thing. And this injury that I have in my shoulder isn't really it's not at all from the accident. It's like overwork, from like, but I was using that time to rest, and I was good, and maybe I overwhelmed a little bit, and so I'm not too comfortable today, so I'm gonna stretch it out and get myself ready because I gotta get back to work and stuff, as does everybody these days. And dude, we talked here. These days are crazy, and it's super crazy times. And we don't like to do the political thing here, though. Every once in a while, joke out there. It's really not worth the shit for doing all that stuff, so we don't do it a lot. But what political affiliation you have, the stuff that we're seeing news, it's horrible. And on top of all the stuff that we've been dealing with over the years, let's be real, the last 2-3 years have been brutal for a lot of people. These events have been picking up more and more and more, and it's and I don't have the G to be able to express how painful this is for people that are involved. Like I could do it for one, but even if the energy it would take would be, I couldn't even do it. Don't get political. Don't go hate tweeting. Don't get all nuts and crazy. Just tell the people you love that you do. And don't ever miss an opportunity to do that. And just be smart. If your gut tells you a certain way, if you see something, don't be afraid to be the one that says something, and get it out there. You never know whose ass you could be saving, yours. But let's just all work together to make this place as good as we can and not fight. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace out, brothers.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home hip hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.